Trump policies test U.S. solar supply chain momentum. Federal incentives have sparked more than $40 billion in solar and storage manufacturing investments, redefining America's clean energy future. Since the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act's manufacturing provisions, the United States has entered a new era of solar and energy storage production. According to the Solar Energy Industries Association, SEIA, Supply Chain Dashboard, over $40.6 billion in new investments have been announced since 2022, resulting in a 605% increase in module manufacturing capacity and tens of thousands of new jobs. Building a domestic energy backbone, these policy-driven investments, anchored by Section 45X and 48C tax credits, have accelerated the shift from import dependence to domestic resilience. A total of 113 new manufacturing facilities are now operational, with 44 more under construction. The impact spans 43 states and Puerto Rico, signifying one of the broadest energy infrastructure build-outs in modern U.S. history. What's especially notable is the political and regional balance of growth. 309 facilities are emerging in states led by Republican governors and 214 in Democrat-led states. This bipartisan distribution underscores how clean energy manufacturing is being adopted as an economic, not ideological strategy. From polysilicon to power electronics, a rebuilt supply chain, the SEIA dashboard reveals a rare revival across the entire solar manufacturing value chain. Before these incentives, the U.S. had just 7 gigawatts of module manufacturing capacity. By October 2025, that figure has soared to 60 gigawatts, meeting nearly all domestic demand. The comeback extends beyond modules. Polysilicon capacity, once offshored to Asia, is ramping back up. The first ingot and wafer facilities are expected online by late 2025, while cell production, absent since 2019, is returning. These developments mark the re-establishment of a vertically integrated solar manufacturing ecosystem within U.S. borders. Mounting systems and storage, the ripple effect, manufacturing growth is also rippling outward. Mounting systems, often the first segment to scale due to short lead times, have expanded by more than 50%, with 39 facilities now producing U.S.-made rails, torque tubes, and trackers. The sector's rebound has also stimulated domestic demand for steel and aluminum extrusions, strengthening links to traditional manufacturing industries. In storage, the transformation is just as dramatic. Battery cell and pack production is accelerating, with over 557,000 metric tons of anode and cathode materials expected to be processed domestically by decade's end. Many of these facilities serve both battery energy storage systems and EV markets, two rapidly converging industries that share similar material supply chains. Together, these facilities represent 54,700 new manufacturing jobs today, with SEIA projecting a solar manufacturing workforce of 100,000 by 2033. Beyond employment, this reshoring wave signifies a structural shift. Supply chains once constrained by geopolitical risks are now being rebuilt to serve local and global markets with greater stability. As Abigail Ross Hopper, president and CEO of SEIA, noted, a strong domestic manufacturing base is not only key to clean energy deployment, it's essential for America's economic and national security. What Trump's 2025 agenda could mean for solar and storage manufacturing. While the SEIA dashboard highlights unprecedented growth, the Trump administration's 2025 policy shifts may significantly alter that trajectory. Through a mix of executive orders, funding rollbacks, and trade realignments, the new administration is testing the resilience of America's clean energy manufacturing surge. Regulatory reversals and funding cuts. Shortly after taking office, President Trump signed a series of executive orders to roll back climate and clean energy regulations enacted during the previous administration, including the Unleashing American Energy Directive. The administration also declared a national energy emergency, reopening federal lands for fossil fuel development. In October, reports confirmed that $7.6 billion in clean energy project grants were canceled, and another $12 billion in potential cuts are under review. These actions cast uncertainty over new solar and storage projects that depend on consistent policy support and financing. Phasing out IRA incentives. The proposed One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBBA, would phase out many clean energy credits established under the Inflation Reduction Act, including solar and wind production and investment tax credits, unless projects begin construction by mid-2026 or reach completion by 2027. The legislation also tightens foreign entity of concern requirements for companies sourcing materials abroad. If enacted, these provisions could create new compliance burdens and narrow the financial viability of projects further down the supply chain, particularly in cell and module manufacturing. Tariffs, trade, and strategic minerals. The administration's Liberation Day tariffs, imposing a baseline 10% duty on imports and additional reciprocal tariffs, could make imported solar components more expensive. For manufacturers reliant on global inputs such as wafers or inverters, these tariffs could increase costs even as they encourage domestic production. At the same time, the administration's acquisition of a 5% equity stake in Lithium America's Thacker Pass mine signals a willingness to engage in strategic mineral investments, a potential bright spot for domestic battery material supply. Net effect: uncertainty amid momentum. Trump's 2025 agenda does not erase the progress achieved under recent manufacturing incentives, but it does reshape the risk landscape. The likely outcomes include fiscal uncertainty for investors relying on stable tax credits, higher project costs from new tariffs and sourcing restrictions, potential slowdowns in permitting and federal support for renewables, new opportunities for domestic material suppliers and strategic mineral producers. The question now is whether private investment and state-level initiatives can sustain momentum without consistent federal alignment. For the solar and storage industries, 2025 represents both a moment of record progress and a test of policy endurance. Why it matters. The expansion of U.S. solar and storage manufacturing signals a durable turning point in industrial policy and energy independence. But the pace of progress depends on continuity, on incentives that reward innovation and investments that bridge federal cycles. For businesses, these changes promise both opportunity and volatility. For policymakers, they present a challenge, whether to stay the course on clean energy competitiveness or risk fragmenting the nation's most promising industrial revival in decades. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites presented by E+E Leader. For partnership opportunities, reach out to a member of our team.